at Band Gigs / the Real School of Music in Dedham, and I just had a student that asked me about adjusting the pickup heights. I was actually adjusting this one, the heights on this guitar, and he walked in and he's like, "What are you doing?" Blah, blah, blah. And he asked, "So, does that do anything? What does it do?" And ding, light bulb moment. I was like, hey, that's a good video idea. So, what I'm going to do is take this guitar, just a Squier Strat kind of a thing, Duncan Design pickups, which actually I think they sound fairly decent, but just plain old single coils and plain old Strat type guitar. I think this setup is a very like pure guitar kind of a sound. Humbuckers tend to compress a little more and color the sound a bit more, if you know what I mean. This guitar I think just sounds fairly pure tone-wise. The neck is a single piece of wood neck. Of course, the skunk stripe in the back, a second piece of wood. But, it's just a single piece of wood. It doesn't have a fretboard added onto it or anything. So I think maybe this just gives us a nice, good, solid tone. I have 4 springs on it, so it's basically, almost like a hardtail, just a basic guitar sound. And I'm going to go with the neck pickup because I think that has more of a sway, more of a sort of span of tone-wise in the pickup adjustments. At the bridge, the string vibrates less, so I think although you do get, changes in tone and everything, volume, all of that stuff, I think it's a little less noticeable. In the neck position, I think it's a little more noticeable. So that's what we're going to go with here. And I'm just going to go with a clean amp sound. Okay. And of course, let me say right up front that this is completely objective. No, completely subjective. Yes, completely subjective. That's the word. Okay, because, what is good tone? I mean, I've heard people say that, like, Stevie Ray Vaughan's tone is terrible because it's, like, so overdriven and all of this. It's not blues at all. And then I've heard, people say, Stevie Ray Vaughan has the greatest tone ever. And, I could go through the list, on and on and on. Randy Rhoads has the greatest, metal guitar sound ever. And then other people, his guitar just sounds like a buzzsaw, just bzzz, on and on. So it's completely subjective. So with that in mind, I was going to use a ruler and measure and try to be, all scientific about it. But you know what? Scientific, forget it. Throw that out the window. What I'm going to do, and I'm not even going to measure. Okay, I will figure out the measurements and put them hopefully in the edited video, or at the very least in the description, so check that out. But for right now, I just want to go with just the sound. Okay, so to give you an idea, I have the pickup, the neck pickup, pretty much almost flush with the pick guard. Okay, so tone up, volume up, okay, flush with the pick guard. And I measured that and it came out to 5.1 millimeters. And what I'm doing is I'm holding down the thickest string at the last fret on this guitar, 21st fret, and measuring from the top of the pole piece for that string to the bottom of that string. And it came out to 5.1 millimeters. Okay, and that's pretty much the same for the treble side. Okay, so again, people tend to have the treble side a little closer because the strings are thinner to help keep volume and all of that. Okay, again, that's all your own thing, whatever you want to do. Okay, so right now I have it on the bass side at 5.1 millimeters away from the low E string, and it's right about that same for the high E string. Okay, these pickups are just even pole pieces. They're not staggered, not the vintage stagger, not the staggered to go with the curvature of the fretboard. You know, none of that. It's just flat. They do stick up like about 1.5 millimeters out of the plastic cover. But, you know, whatever, because we're going with the top of the pole pieces. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my handy dandy Seymour Duncan screwdriver, and I'm going to turn each of the screws one full turn. So what I found is that it takes 5 full turns to get the pickup like ridiculously close to the strings. Okay, it ends up being like 0.8 millimeters from the bottom of the string. Okay, and doing a little internet research, it doesn't look like there's any real Fender specs per se for the pickup heights, because it is so completely subjective. You know, whatever, it depends on how high you have the action at the bridge, the angle of the neck, da 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 da, on and on and on. Okay, but you know, really it's whatever anybody wants. So it seems that a good kind of average middle ground that most people seem to like is the low E is 3 millimeters and the high E is 2.5 millimeters. So obviously going from a little over 5 millimeters to 0.8, under 1 millimeter, you know, we're way too low from this sort of internet average, and really way too high for this internet average. But it'll give you an idea. Okay, so I'm going to play a little bit and raise it one turn up, play a little bit, raise it one turn up, play a little bit, one turn up, play a little bit. Okay, until we get up as close as we are, and then I'll edit it all together, and hopefully we can, you know, hear how it sounds. Okay? So here we are with the pickup all the way down, and I'll just play, I don't know, A minor-ish. Okay, so kind of sort of somewhere around the middle-ish, you know, of the neck from the nut to the 12th fret. Okay, so fairly twangy and obviously very low output. Okay, so I'm going to turn this up one. So, one. And this one up one. Okay, and I'll play, and it's probably not much of a difference. So, you know what? I'm going to go with throwing out my opinion. It does sound a little bit louder, a little bit more output, and it does seem a little thicker, a little more mid-rangey, you know. But of course, when we do the side by side, we'll definitely hear that. So. That note I'm definitely hearing louder. I can feel a little vibration coming sort of through the floor on the amp on that note. Okay, so we'll go with the next one. Okay, now this is in the ballpark of sort of that, you know, everybody likes Strat pickup height zone. Okay, so now it's, to me it's sounding like a Strat neck pickup. A little kind of rounder, a little thicker, you know, kind of that Stratish, kind of glassy, I guess, kind of tone. Okay, so we're definitely getting closer up there now. That sounds definitely louder. Okay, now I can kind of feel vibrations on most of the notes through the floor. Okay, the next one. Okay, that's pretty close now. That note seems to be kind of resonating something funky with the amp. Okay, let's go one more. And this may be more than 5, I kind of lost count. But it doesn't really matter that much, because, you know, this is just for, oh yeah, this is definitely more than 5, because now when I press down, it's like almost touching. Okay, it is touching. But at the, oh, there was that resonance there. But at the, when I'm playing around the 5th fret, 5th and 7th, it's not pressing the strings down enough, so I don't think they'll actually touch the pull pieces. But this obviously is too high for like actual real world use. Because if I go up, you know, higher, you know, it's touching the pull pieces. Not that I usually play that note, but you know, you get the idea. Yeah. So that's touching the pull pieces. Okay, so this is way past, you know, where I could put it. So yeah, it's definitely doing something wacky with the amp. Hope this helped. And really, you know, the whole point of this, like I was explaining to my student after he asked, you adjust them to how you want them. Because obviously, you know, if you play clean, you're going to want them a certain way. If you play, you know, distorted, you may want them a different way, depending on the amp, depending on the guitar, depending on the strings, depending on the action, depending on the pickups, depending on, you know, everything. So, you know, go with what you want, and, you know, see what you can come up with. But again, you know, the whole point of this video was just showing the range that you can get. So when you listen to it, you can say, you know, oh, you know what, I liked the lower end of it. So, you know, you can start there and kind of fine tune, you know, to taste and see how you want it and all of that. Okay, so hope this helped, and rock on.